In a significant diplomatic development, Chinese President Xi Jinping has accepted an invitation to attend the Victory Day celebrations in Moscow on May 9, 2025, marking the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. This announcement was made by the Kremlin on February 10, underscoring the importance of this occasion for both countries. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov highlighted that these visits serve not only as a commemoration of historical events but also as a reflection of the robust bilateral relations between Russia and China. Peskov noted such contacts and visits are being prepared, and we attach great mutual importance to the symbolism of these dates. He emphasized that the celebrations are a reminder of the contributions both nations made in the fight against Nazism, reinforcing their historical ties. The Kremlin's announcement follows earlier remarks by Russia's ambassador to China Igor Morgulov, who confirmed that she would participate in the Moscow festivities and had invited President Vladimir Putin to China for similar commemorative events in September. The backdrop to these high-level meetings is marked by a complex geopolitical landscape. Notably, the 2025 Victory Day celebrations in Moscow will be attended by various world leaders, including Slovak Prime Minister Robert Fico, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, and Brazilian President Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. This gathering signals a potential shift in diplomatic engagement, especially considering the absence of foreign leaders at the 2022 celebrations due to Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The evolving dynamics of Russia-China relations come at a time when both nations are navigating a challenging international environment. Xi's last visit to Moscow, which occurred in March 2023, was characterized by discussions on mutual cooperation amidst growing tensions with the West. As both nations face individual pressures, Russia from ongoing sanctions and geopolitical isolation and China from trade tensions and diplomatic scrutiny, their commitment to strengthening ties could be seen as a strategic pivot. Moreover, these commemorative events highlight a broader narrative of solidarity against perceived Western hegemony. As Peskov stated, the upcoming visits will not only honor the past but also potentially set the stage for future collaborations between the two nations. This growing partnership is further evidenced by China's recent moves, including significant investments in energy and infrastructure projects within Russia. As the world watches these developments unfold, the implications of Xi's participation in the Victory Day celebrations will likely resonate beyond the immediate commemorative context. The bilateral engagements could shape the geopolitical landscape, particularly as China continues to assert its influence in global affairs while navigating its relationship with Russia. Looking ahead, the celebrations in May and September are poised to serve as critical junctures for both nations, presenting opportunities for renewed cooperation and strategic alignment in the face of global challenges. The outcomes of these engagements could potentially redefine the contours of international relations in an era characterized by multipolarity and shifting alliances. In an era characterized by heightened economic tensions, the trade relations between the United States and China have become emblematic of a broader geopolitical struggle. As of February 2025, the two powers are once again embroiled in a tit-for-tat tariff conflict, echoing the tumultuous trade war that began during Donald Trump's first term and has persisted under subsequent administrations. This ongoing saga is not merely a series of economic exchanges but a complex interplay of policy decisions, market reactions, and global economic implications. The latest round of tariffs commenced on February 4, 2025, when President Trump announced a new 10% duty on all Chinese imports. This move was met with swift retaliation from Beijing, which imposed a series of countermeasures, including tariffs on American coal, liquefied natural gas, and agricultural machinery. This escalation highlights the cyclical nature of U.S. China trade relations, a trend that has been unfolding since Trump first took office in 2017. The roots of this conflict can be traced back to Trump's initial efforts to address perceived trade imbalances and protect American industries. Shortly after his inauguration, he signed an executive order aimed at tightening tariff enforcement and initiated a series of investigations into China's trade practices, notably the alleged theft of intellectual property that the U.S. estimated was costing its economy up to $600 billion annually. By 2018, the U.S. had already implemented significant tariffs on solar panels and a range of goods, prompting reciprocal tariffs from China that targeted U.S. agricultural exports and manufacturing. As the situation evolved, it became clear that the trade war was as much about strategic positioning as it was about economics. Major milestones included the signing of the Phase 1 trade deal in January 2020, where China committed to purchasing an additional $200 billion in U.S. goods. However, subsequent analyses indicated that these commitments were largely unmet, casting doubt on the effectiveness of the agreement. In the ensuing years under President Joe Biden, the administration largely retained the tariff framework established by Trump while introducing new restrictions, particularly in the semiconductor sector. These measures reflect a broader strategy to counter China's technological ambitions and ensure the U.S. maintains its competitive edge in critical industries. The ramifications of these tariffs extend beyond bilateral trade figures. Economists warn that such aggressive trade policies could lead to increased consumer prices in the U.S., with everyday goods from electronics to clothing becoming more expensive due to the added costs of tariffs. Furthermore, the prolonged uncertainty in trade relations has led to shifts in supply chains as companies seek to mitigate risks associated with tariffs by relocating production or sourcing materials from alternative markets. The current landscape suggests that the trade conflict is far from resolution. Trump has indicated plans for even more stringent tariffs on Chinese imports should he regain the presidency, while Biden's administration continues to grapple with the implications of its trade policies amidst domestic and international pressures. Looking ahead, the future of U.S. China trade relations remains uncertain. With both nations entrenched in their positions, the prospect of a comprehensive agreement appears dim. As global economic dynamics shift, the ability of both countries to adapt their strategies will be crucial, not only for their own economic health but also for the stability of the global market. In this context, observers will be keenly watching for signs of diplomatic engagement or further escalation as the complexities of this trade relationship continue to unfold. In the ever-evolving landscape of global economics, China continues to emerge as a pivotal force despite facing significant challenges that have the potential to reshape its demographic and economic future. Recent reports reveal a stark decline in marriage rates, a trend that underscores a broader demographic crisis threatening the world's second-largest economy. According to data from China's Ministry of Civil Affairs, marriage registrations plummeted to 6.1 million in 2024, a staggering 20% decrease from the previous year and the lowest figure recorded since public records began in 1986. This decline is particularly alarming given that it comes after a brief post-pandemic resurgence that saw registrations peak at nearly 7.7 million in 2023. The situation reflects a continuing downward trajectory in marriage rates, which have been declining for over a decade, with fewer than 10 million marriages recorded annually since 2019. The implications of this demographic shift are profound. Traditionally, marriage has been seen as a precursor to childbearing in China, where a marriage certificate is often required to register births. This correlation between marriage and birth rates has led to a concerning trend. As marriages decline, so too do births. The latest data indicates that although births increased slightly in 2024, they remained at the second lowest level since the founding of the People's Republic of China in 1949. This trend poses significant long-term risks for economic growth, as a shrinking workforce could hinder productivity and economic expansion. Several factors contribute to this decline in marriage rates. High youth unemployment, which reached 15.7% among those aged 16 to 24 in December 2024, plays a crucial role in shaping the attitudes of young people toward marriage. As Ada Lee, a Bloomberg intelligence analyst, notes, the combination of high youth unemployment and high barriers to marriage could have further dampened the desire for young people to wed. Many young individuals grappling with financial insecurity are prioritizing personal happiness over traditional family structures, leading to a societal shift that favors individualism over collectivism. In addition to economic pressures, cultural factors also influence marriage decisions. The year 2024 was deemed inauspicious for marriages, known as a widow year, which likely contributed to the drop in registrations. This cultural belief, combined with rising divorce rates, 2.6 million divorces were filed in 2024, marking a 1.1% increase from the previous year, reflects a growing discontent with traditional marital norms. The ramifications of declining marriage and birth rates extend beyond individual relationships to the broader economic landscape. President Xi Jinping has acknowledged the need to guide young people in their views on marriage and family, emphasizing the importance of fostering a supportive environment for family formation. However, proposed reforms such as easing marriage registration processes and tightening divorce regulations have met with public backlash, revealing a complex interplay between government policy and societal attitudes. As China grapples with these demographic challenges, the government is keenly aware of the potential consequences for economic stability and growth. The ongoing decline in marriages and births could exacerbate the already pressing issues of an aging population and a shrinking workforce, threatening the economic dynamism that has characterized the country in recent decades. Looking forward, the trajectory of China's demographic landscape will likely influence not only its domestic policies but also its position in the global economic arena. With the world closely watching, how China navigates these challenges will be critical in determining its future as a global economic powerhouse. The coming years will demand innovative solutions to foster a culture of family formation, balancing economic realities with deep-seated cultural beliefs. As such, the interplay between marriage rates, birth rates, and economic health will remain a focal point of discussion in both policy circles and public discourse. In a significant move highlighting the Chinese government's tightening grip on military discourse, new regulations have been introduced that impose stringent controls on the dissemination of military-related content online. This initiative, spearheaded by the Cyberspace Administration of China alongside 9 other governmental departments, sets forth a framework that mandates social media accounts and websites discussing the People's Liberation Army (PLA) and defense matters to undergo rigorous identity verification and display specific markers. These measures, which will take effect on March 1, 2025, reflect a growing concern among Chinese authorities about the potential for unauthorized information to disrupt the official narrative surrounding the nation's military capabilities. The regulation, titled Measures for the Management of Military Information Dissemination on the Internet, comprises 30 articles that provide detailed guidelines on various aspects, ranging from the establishment of military-themed websites to the operation of social media accounts. Article 3 of the new rules emphasizes the necessity for these channels to maintain a correct political orientation and to guide public opinion in a manner that preserves the military's favorable image. This language underscores the regime's commitment to controlling the narrative surrounding China's military development, a narrative that is deemed essential for both national security and social stability. Military-related content enjoys considerable popularity among Chinese internet users, yet the leadership appears increasingly wary of the implications that sensitive information and speculation could have on public perception of the military. By implementing these regulations, the Chinese government aims to ensure that any discussion of the PLA aligns with official state policies and narratives, effectively curtailing dissent and unauthorized commentary. The new rules also explicitly prohibit the unauthorized use of terminology associated with the military, such as People's Liberation Army and Armed Forces, in an effort to mitigate the risks associated with misinformation and misrepresentation. Criticism of the misuse of state media brands has also prompted these regulations, as unauthorized entities have exploited the credibility of official channels to gain traction in the crowded online space. This concern is particularly relevant in light of the booming interest in military affairs content, which has led to a proliferation of unofficial accounts that may not adhere to the principles dictated by the state. As David Bandersky, director of the China Media Project, notes, The new framework suggests that similar confusion has reigned in the hugely popular field of military affairs content. The implications of these regulations extend beyond mere content control. They underscore a broader trend of increasing censorship and information management in China. As the government seeks to bolster its grip on the narrative surrounding the military, it raises questions about the future of public discourse and the extent to which citizens will be able to engage with military topics freely. Looking ahead, the impact of these regulations will likely resonate throughout the Chinese internet landscape, affecting not only how military content is produced and shared but also how the public perceives the military and its role in national discourse. As the government continues to navigate the complexities of military transparency and public sentiment, the balance between control and openness will remain a contentious issue in China's evolving media environment. The developments in this arena signal a concerted effort by the state to assert dominance over military narratives with far-reaching ramifications for the future of public engagement in defense matters. In a significant diplomatic move, China's top diplomat Wang Yi is set to visit the United Kingdom this Wednesday for high-level discussions with British Foreign Secretary David Lammy. This marks the first strategic dialogue between the two nations since 2018, indicating a potential thaw in relations that have been strained in recent years. The visit comes on the heels of a series of exchanges between officials, including Lammy's recent trip to Beijing and a visit by British Chancellor of the Exchequer Rachel Reeves to major Chinese cities last month. These engagements are part of the Labour government's broader strategy to improve ties with China, a relationship that has been under scrutiny amid geopolitical tensions and trade disputes. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Gui Jiaquan confirmed Wang's visit, emphasizing its importance as both countries seek to navigate their complex relationship. The backdrop of this dialogue is noteworthy as British Prime Minister Keir Starmer met with Chinese President Xi Jinping during the G20 summit in Brazil last November. Starmer expressed a desire to be a predictable and pragmatic partner, underscoring his administration's intent to prioritize national interests while fostering a robust trade partnership with China. The diplomatic overtures from the UK come at a critical time when both nations are grappling with economic challenges and shifting global dynamics. Starmer's administration aims to deepen the trade relationship, which is crucial for Britain's post-Brexit economic landscape. Business and Trade Secretary Jonathan Reynolds is also expected to visit Beijing later this year to resume the UK-China Joint Economic and Trade Commission, further signaling a commitment to bilateral engagement. While these developments suggest a positive shift, the path forward will not be without challenges. The backdrop of international tensions, particularly related to China's assertive foreign policy, will undoubtedly complicate discussions. The strategic dialogue is expected to cover a wide range of issues, including trade, security, and climate change. But the results will depend on both sides' willingness to address contentious topics. As Wang Yi prepares for his visit, the implications of these discussions extend beyond the bilateral context. The evolving dynamics between major global powers and the economic interdependence that characterizes modern diplomacy will play a critical role in shaping the outcomes of these talks. Observers will be keen to see how this dialogue influences not just China-UK relations but also the broader geopolitical landscape. In conclusion, Wang Yi's upcoming visit represents a pivotal moment for China and the UK as they seek to rebuild and strengthen their ties. The success of this strategic dialogue could pave the way for a more cooperative relationship, but it will require careful navigation of complex issues and mutual concessions as both nations look to the future. The results of these discussions may well set the tone for their partnership in the years to come.